So, in Christianity, we believe in the Holy Spirit, the power of God that can be experienced by people themselves. Is there an equivalent to this in Islam? This is one question. And then we believe that Satan is Shaitan is a separate being, a distinct person. Some people believe it's in us, but we believe he is a separate being. If this is the case, or if he's in between, if he's inside us, how do we overcome this? That's two questions. The other is a point that when you were talking, I picked this point. As a Christian, a new Christian, I've seen many religions, different religions in that, but the most important thing for me as a Christian, or whatever I would be, is to love God with all my heart, all my soul, all my mind, and to love my neighbour. And my neighbour is and these are two great commandments, and they are very important to me, and that sums everything up. And I felt I wasn't going to ask that, but I felt I must say that. So
I couldn't follow the first part of your question. The rest I followed easily.
Yeah.
What was that?
Let me just.
The very first.
It's about the Holy Spirit.
They have the concept of Holy
Yes,
Spirit.
that's right.
Is there
Yeah.
anything equivalent
I
of that?
understand.
Yeah. I think paraclete is the word in
Yes.
Greek. I don't know, but
As
paraclete.
I have already expressed my opinion on the concept of God, we as Muslims believe in absolute unity of God. And we also assert that Jesus believed in the same unity of God. If we are right, then those disciples who were trained directly by Jesus should also have believed in the absolute unity of God. And that is what James did and Jacob did. And the difference began to appear elsewhere. From St. Paul's influence, the divinity began to be split in Roman area and non-religious areas of the past. So it's up to you to agree with this or not, but my answer has to be in the light of what I believe. So according to me, the unity of God is an established fact against which not a word can be quoted from Jesus. As far as the Holy Spirit is concerned, according to Islamic teaching, Holy Spirit is no other separate being as such. The Holy Spirit is the quality of man to be at one with God. When he reaches that stage of being at one with God, then he is the Holy Spirit. There is no difference between him and the Holy Spirit at all. And this Holy Spirit comes to live eternally. It never parts.
No.
So you don't have to believe in a third person.
No.
You have to believe in the spirit of things, as you call Holy Spirit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the spirit of things, to be at one with God. And as far as Satan is concerned, the answer is very similar to that. Satan can be looked at as an outside external force working constantly on man to draw him against the will of God, to draw him away from the will of God. And Satan can be looked at as something within you, like I said about the Holy Spirit. Now, amazingly, this is exactly the analysis of the Holy Prophet of Islam. He once observed that the Satan runs in the bloodstreams of every person. There is no exception.
Mhm.
So some were afraid
Yeah.
and some were amazed. When he said every person, the question raised was, even in your bloodstream,
Mhm.
O Prophet of God? He said, yes, even in my bloodstream. But it has become Muslim.
Mm.
It has submitted to my superior will of goodness and my superior will of being at one with God. So when the Satan submits to the will of God, he becomes the Holy Spirit.
Mm.
Because then the man within him becomes insplitable.
Mm.
So this is the logical explanation which must be rationally accepted. And the second possibility, as you mentioned, was an outside Satan.
Mm.
Now from all the religious studies, it appears that there was some person who rebelled against the will of God and refused to bow to Adam as his superior. Now, it evidently was not Adam
No.
who refused to bow.
Mm.
There has to be an outsider.
Yeah.
Was it a man, like you find such rebellious people in the history of all prophets, or was it a spirit? That is the most important question.
Mm.
Personally, I believe it had to be a rebellious man, because the answer is indicative of that. He said, "Oh God, how can I bow to this man while you have created him from wet earth and you have created me from fire?" Now, it's rich in profound philosophy. The fact is that fire is the nature of all rebellious people who want to destroy order, who want to disintegrate things. And the wet earth is a symbol of integration and growth. So the fire burns the growth and destroys whatever wet earth stands for.
Yep.
So that was the amazing question of the rebellious person. You want me to bow to this person who is inferior to me? I can destroy him altogether if I so please. Answer of God was no. Despite your hostility, despite your destruction, despite your rebellion against every new order which is initiated by God, that order must grow and prove you wrong. So this is what we find at the history of every religion. A religion begins with one person who claims that he is divinely authorized, and he speaks to a society which the first reaction of which is extremely hostile. They say, no, we are not going to listen to you. We do not believe you in your truth. Now, all the society pitched against one man, and that one man is not destroyed. He grows from strength to strength. And the fire around cannot burn him. So, if you understand it from that point of view, then your question should be answered.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And the third thing I said about God, and do you agree that they're the really good commandments?
Pardon?
Do you agree that they're good commandments? Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart.
We believe that all the commandments which are good are shared by all religions.
Yeah.
And they come from God.
Yeah. Thank you.